We are here on another day in the realm of crypto, and it definitely is confusing, right? You see a lot of Bitcoin like BTC, Ether, they are moving sideways, and you look at other alts, you kind of see some moving up, some are sideways, some are moving a little bit up, sideways, like that. But when you jump on to the altcoin market cap, you see something like this. That is a huge sell volume in the altcoin market. So you're like, okay, fine. Does that mean the altcoins are done? They're going to the downside from here? No one knows. But the possibility what you can look at is like go on to individual assets and look at like what are they doing. Look at their weekly, daily, 3-day, whatever charts you want to look and see the volume. Are they actually getting a lot of selling volume, or are they changing it? Sideways, movement to the upside, like that. Say for XRP, we don't have that negativeness. What we see is intermediate bull coming into the market and then people taking profits. You don't actually see a huge red candle here in the volume bar, right? Say for example, if I take you to another asset here, if I move you towards say Dent, you actually had a big sell volume coming in considering the amount of buy which we had previously, right? So that's something we are talking about, the accumulating amount of sell volume. Say we went to the price actually dropped for that, now it's at the support, it can go higher. So similarly, if you look at OMG, we had this huge sell volume when we were in the all-time highs or close to that in this cycle, and then we came back down to the support, right? So right now when you have this big stuff happening, you need to know like in which assets it's actually going to, because that's going to impact your portfolio in a way different area if you are not focused well, and if your portfolio has a lot of different assets. Because here this is a weekly candle, remember this is a weekly, and you can actually see like, okay fine, the price is in consolidation, it's in correction. But for Ether, you can actually see like, okay, there's a lot of sell volume coming in, it's kind of accumulating, and in this particular trend you're somewhere here. So if you don't bounce in the RSI with the strength and break this one, you're coming all the way down. And we've talked about this scenario, right? Your bottom support next is like $3,000 range, and then you go all the way back down to 2,000. So that's the worst case scenario there. But everything is not that hell like stuff. You go to different stuff, say Bitcoin chart, and you're like, okay fine, we came to the moving average, we're still there, we're not bleeding to the downside from there, that's all okay. Now for us, the XRP holders, you look at these and it's really bullish. If you remember in the last video we highlighted this, that the possibilities are really there that this is gonna happen, right? And that just did happen. So you look at XRP BTC, you look at XRP Ether, we talked about those two scenarios, and then you see a breakout, return, retest, and then slowly bouncing back. So right now if you're looking at the market, say this is to the dollar, right? XRP to dollar, you bounced, you came back, retested, and then you're again bouncing. So you had this breakout, you bounced to the upside, you got rejected at the 200-day moving average on a 4-hour chart, and then you came back. Now when you're going back, if you are able to break this one, you are looking for higher levels, right? So you zoom out, you look at different patterns, and like, okay, this is the chart which you should be eyeing it on a medium to long term basis, and you're like, okay, this is what you are looking at for the near future, right? And as you go through that, you understand like, okay fine, this is something important. We get into this range, you break about this one, then if you are able to do that, that's like, okay, the next range is near your recent all-time highs in this cycle. So that projects you towards a possible future where you are in green, not red. So when you look at these and understand step, okay, you are taking a step back, you're looking at 3-day chart, you still have a ton of that sell volume there, and the RSI is actually moving to the downside. So you go on to the monthly to look at that, and you're like, that's actually a huge sale volume, right? So that's like it's happening in this month, and you're getting a lot of sell volume compared to what you had previously. So there is a possibility that a lot of altcoins are going to correct down, but you would possibly ask, okay, we are almost 60% down in a lot of different coins, right? But if you go look at different coins, there are coins which has literally went 80%, 90% to the downside. So they've been traveling to the downside, and that's possible in a lot of different asset class. Difference is you look at assets in your portfolio and then make sure you are in the right place where there is not a ton of sell volume being accumulated, and you are near the support, because if you are close to the support, you don't have too much downside, right? Say here in XLM, if you are looking at this, you just extend this and fine, you're close. Now you can come down, but it's not too much of downside, right? Then you go back to your XRP chart, say on the same time horizon, say a weekly, and you're like, we are already bouncing from that support. So that's the bottom range, and you're bouncing. Now we need to break above this, otherwise we are not going to continue higher. Similar to that here in the price, you're coming back to that dollar mark, and if you're breaking that, yes, you're going towards that $2 to retest that level with an intermediate resistance of $1.5. But in general, this has not changed, and it's not that bad to highlight it again, because a lot of people tend to forget this. But I would say if you are to make profit in this market, you do have to understand markets go up, markets come back down, and in this manner, when you are looking at XRP, BTC, Ether, and all the other assets, and you ask yourself, where can you be positioned well on a fundamental asset to ride this journey from here? For me, that has always been XRP, and I'm reassuring that it is going to be XRP with a break here. The maximum optimistic move for this particular break is like around 4x. Now that's just the impulse I'm talking about after your break. So if you are breaking that and moving towards that 4x, say 434%, you're actually reaching the range of $6. Now that's just the break of this pattern, but you have a lot of upside from there. Say $8, $10, $12. I'll actually take you guys through that, and we'll describe those in detail. Welcome to the Scientific Investor family, where we discuss crypto and science behind investing regularly. So we just talked through this chart, right? So let's look at this. This is a 3-day chart of XRP Ether, and you see, okay, we have a trend line resistance, which would be acting as a trend line resistance as we go upside. Fine. But right now, the moving average is about that one. So last time as you were going high, both of them were acting as a resistance, but this time you have a little bit more space to go fake out, come back, retest that trend line resistance, and then bounce towards the 200-day moving average. Now why do I say that? Because you look at the RSI, it's already breaking higher from this particular trend. Great. Now if you look at the MACD, it tried once to cross to the upside but failed. It tried twice, it failed. Now this is the third time it's trying that, and it definitely looks like we are going to cross to the upside, and that particular break in the MACD gives you that room to walk through. So that's on a 3-day chart on XRP Ether. Then you come on to XRP BTC. The RSI is near to that area where it's saying, okay, I'm going to cross to the upside, and that's actually a bullish pattern, right? So mostly you are going to break to the upside with that bullish momentum, and the MACD, if that RSI crossed to the upside, MACD is also going to cross to the upside with the volume turning into the positive range. And remember, you're just starting here. This current small movement where people say, okay, now it can be classified into two. The XRP community saying XRP is being detached from BTC, and BTC saying, okay, that's small fluctuation. That's all happening. But as you break through this one, you literally have a space to double in between. So now that's not, the 10-20x we are talking about. That's just doubling in XRP BTC pair. So we'll have to actually see how that respond in XRP USD pair, because from here, if that breakout happens, you literally have 4x, right? In XRP BTC pair, it's 100%. Here it's 400%. So that's literally possible. Why? BTC is an appreciating asset. compared to dollar. Dollar is a depreciating asset, right? So you can actually put that into perspective. It's easy. So when you actually go zoom in, you see this stuff and you understand like, okay, the trend line is to the upside. You come back, you bounce each time when you're coming back down. On the dollar terms, you're actually doing this. You actually came back, you bounced, you came back, you bounced. So when you are going into these charts, always do go look at the monthly too, because that's the macro scenario, right? So on a macro, when you are looking at this and you're like, okay, fine, right now I'm getting a long wick, say here. But if you look at the history, you had a long wick here, which was like 30-35%. Then you had another long wick here, which was like 45%. So now you take them and again look at the next one, which you had here, where you closed bearish, but the wick itself was 23%. Then followed by that, you had a couple of them here, 34%. So say you have an average of the wicks which are like 30% or more, which shows you the price is going bullish. So now you come back here and you take the price here. Right now you're already 26% to the upside. You still have like 10 days to go. So if you are able to maintain and go test this previous monthly close as a resistance, that's 36%. So you're entering into that bullish territory on a monthly, where you're showing you that, okay, we are bouncing to the upside, and that literally makes a doji or a hammer there, a bullish one, where you are way above the moving average. You came back to the moving average, you tested that one, and you're bouncing to the upside. That's the bullish scenario. So now you can also ask, okay, what would be the negative scenario? Fine, we all want to know that. You look at the moving average here on a short term. If that moving average is, now remember this particular trend line which we are drawing here is a short term trend line. You can draw it on a 4-hour, daily, like that. Whereas when you go on to this zoomed out view to look at where your resistance can be, this is one of the huge resistance which you have to run through, which is $1. And then you come back, you look at this previous support. Now that's valid too, right? That's the negative scenario there. This is the previous support range for you. The resistance turned support, turned resistance. You extend, turned support. Then you see we break below, and that's acting as a resistance. So this particular range is a resistance right now. So you need to break above that. That's why I'm saying, like, if you break through this moving average and reach $1, most likely you're going to continue higher. Because if you measure the number of days where you have been in this range, it's like 240 days. And you look at the next one where you started acting as a resistance here, that's 200 days. So comparatively, this one is the stronger resistance. So if you move through that one to the upside, which I think is possible because of the RSI, it's already showing you around the bottom moving through the upside with your neckline here. So you're breaking through that kind of an inverse head and shoulder with your MACD already crossing to the upside on a daily. So say for example, okay, what does it mean for guys who are trading based on 3-day chart? You go to the 3-day chart and you look at the same. Yeah, your RSI is at the support, you're bouncing, but you do have a resistance moving like this. So you need to break above this particular stuff, otherwise you're not continuing higher. So this is your support zone where you're bouncing each time when you come back down and you're going back up. Now you zoom out and keep your mouse here and look at where we have been previously. So you look at this huge drop in selling, and then you come back up, you correct, and you stay there and then go up. Now that's something similar to what you are watching here. The price came back down, you went back up, you're consolidating there, and you need to actually slowly go back up. Fine. So I'm not talking about a bullish scenario happening in this day or next week, because no one knows when it's actually going to happen. But if you are still maintaining this trend line, you're moving to the upside. Zoom in and look at this. We've talked about this previously. Right? If you are able to bounce through this range, that range of support, you are kind of moving towards the top. What can be the possible top? Because it's not that 400% we are talking about, right? It's about the upside potential. Because when you're buying an asset, considering the upside potential and the downside risk, you need that risk to be much lower and the upside should be asymmetrical. So here, when you put that into numbers, from this support as we've been so delayed from this support, when you are going towards the top, you are kind of looking like 15x in XRP from the current area. So that takes you towards $10 to $12 range. So previously, we were targeting like $6 to $8. Then you got delayed, you came back to the support. So if you are to continue in this trend, you're going towards $10 to $12. Now that won't happen in a day or two, right? We all know that we have measured this a lot of times. That's like, increasing time taken from the bottom till the top. So 45 days, 60 days, then you come to the bottom here, then towards the top, that's like 100 days. So each time you're coming to the bottom, you take more number of days, and right now it's 150 days. So what's it going to be? 200, 250? We don't know. No one knows. But chances are higher that you are definitely going to touch this range. But the only question remains, will you be still there in the market when you go and the price go and hit this range? Because when you're breaking out here, it's a clear signal for you that, say for example, you had this resistance which pushed us or kept us lower for a long time. Now you plot this one, you again have this. So when you're breaking through this range of $1.2, you definitely have a confirmation we are going to go to the upside. Now those who wait patiently always understand this. They know the benefit of being in the market and giving time to the market, because timing the market is really hard. But right now you have the support, and if you want to try to time the market, you can. But the benefit is, if you have time in the market and you're not trying to absolutely get that top or bottom, that's fine, you're going to make money. But if you're just trying to grab that absolute bottom, and if you miss it, that's going to be hard. That's why being long-term investor and understanding all the different assets in your portfolio, looking at where the volume is increasing, where the volume is going down, to understand whether this red thing is going to hurt you, that's something you need to keep in your mind. Because this market cap is actually showing you we are going down. Why? The divergence there is heavy, because this is on a monthly. You are getting a divergence in the RSI, a trend down. So there are a lot of assets in this asset class where you go to the return rates for sure, which is easy. Then go towards a year and look at which coin did perform a lot. So now you go to their chart and look whether they are having a lot of sale. This is one of the easy way to do it. If you're doing it on your own, you can use this particular stuff, or you can go to the quarter and see in this particular quarter which coin did perform way well and look at the selling volume. But understand, if that's micro cap, small cap, that won't be bringing this much volume on the average. It would be the big cap, the large cap coins. Say you look at the first 100, first 150 coins and look at like large to medium cap coins and identify which of them have this issue. That's important for you for next 3 to 6 months for sure. So guys, if you received value for your time, please do hit that like and subscribe button, because that supports the channel a lot. And if you want similar updates for a lot of different assets which you have in your portfolio, what's the volume doing, whether you are anticipating it to go down, that kind of stuff, whether it's a support, it's going to bounce, and that kind of stuff, you can definitely look at the Patreon. The link is given in the description below. So guys, I'll meet you on the next video. Bye for now.